Alright, so it's going to be first drive on the new clutch. I'll probably have to narrate because it'll be too noisy. So, just be getting some footage for now. Stiff, not bad. So she engages like right off the floor. There's not a whole lot of travel. Once you start letting off, it starts grabbing. Stiff, and it engages a little, not really abruptly, but yeah, it's totally streetable. You know, it's not a on-off switch. So yeah, almost burnt the escort down. So what had happened was, I drove the car to work. It's kind of my first, well, it's my second time driving it since putting a new clutch in. The weather's been pretty horrible this past month. I mean, it's raining right now, which actually isn't too bad right now because it's like super duper hot. It is like really, really hot. So every time it rains, it drops the temperature like 10 degrees and then makes it somewhat tolerable. But anyways, I haven't driven the car very much because the car is no fun to drive in the rain. So today was a somewhat decent day, so I drove to work. Got some nice driving clips and whatnot. Testing the clutch out, breaking the clutch in. I get home. I go to move my Trailblazer out of the driveway so that I can get the Escort into the garage. And, so I turn the Escort off and move Trailblazer, hop back in the Escort, go to turn it on. And it starts and then dies. And I was like, that sounds like no fuel. I checked for the fuel pump. Fuel pump's not running. So, check the fuses, check the harness. I noticed that the harness is a little bit melted. So I was like, well, that's weird. Maybe something overheated. So I was like, I'll cut this melted part out of the harness and jump the fuel pump just to get the car into the garage. So I jumped the fuel pump and go to start the car. Well, okay. The second thing I did was I blew a fuse, and that was accidental. I had some wires shorted, and I blew a fuse, so I didn't have a fuse, so I took a spade connector, stuck it into the fuse holder. Yeah, see where this is going. So yeah, I stuck a spade connector into the fuse holder, and hot wired the fuel pump. So yeah, hot wired the fuel pump, hit the ignition. Inside of the car fills with smoke, just instantaneously fills with smoke. So you can see a little hot wire I had here, and it is just completely toasted. I mean, it just lit that up. It incinerated the insulation off of that. Same thing with the ground wire, just heated that up. So I'm hoping what had happened is that I had the wrong wire on here, and what I did was I shorted that straight to the battery. I'm hoping that's what happened. Otherwise, it means that the fuel pump is like super duper shorted, because there's no reason that should have toasted that like that. Plus, none of the other grounds got hot. So I'm thinking I jumpered the wrong cable and toasted some wires. But anyways, I am going to begin pulling this stuff apart. Super hot. So anyways, I'm going to start pulling this apart. Probably not going to film a lot of the process. I'll just catch you up on what I discover, because it's so hot, and it sucks trying to film and move the cameras, and I'm going to be in a confined space, and I'll do some exploring, and then I'll go over what I find after I find it. Alright, so quick update. Not really a quick update, it's been like a couple hours. So, ohmed out the fuel pump, like the wires, which tells me the fuel pump is severely shorted out. I was like, well, maybe the wires inside the tank shorted together. Maybe some tape came off. Well, there's no tape, but maybe the heat shrink came off or something and they shorted. So I went ahead and pulled the pump out. I had just filled the car up, apparently. Yeah, I had just filled her up. So the tank is insanely full. So I put a tray down, but, I spilled gas everywhere. That's freaking lovely. The 85 all over the place. And the tank was still leaking, so I decided to drain the tank down. So I just wanted to show you what I did here. So I had a spare fuel pump, old one. And I just went ahead and I just took my spare pump, Milwaukee 12-volt battery, and there we go. There's my quick and easy fuel tank drainer. I'm not draining it, I just want it down low enough so that it's not. There we go, that's good. Because before it was so high that it was just constantly seeping out. So I just want it low enough that it's not leaking out all over the place. At least gas dries up really quick. So here's my Walbro 450 that I just put in here. I don't see anything that looks like it's shorted. So I think the pump itself is shorted. I'll check it out, but I think the pump itself is done, which is annoying because literally just bought it. I mean, you can see how clean it is. It's brand new. So, um, so I'll ohm it out on the bench. So what I'm gonna do, so I guess I'll cut the wires here. I'll go ahead and I'll cut the wires here, just to kind of rule out anything going on with this bulkhead. Maybe it stripped. Maybe it, maybe something went wrong there. Doesn't look like it, but let's go ahead and cut these. 0.4 ohms. That seems like a dead pump. I will zap this really quick just to see, but it will probably, yeah, nothing's happening. Oh, well, pump actually kicked on. Alright, that's interesting. Pump works. Alright, well, I got some stuff to figure out, because obviously I did something wrong. Alright, so here's what I think happened. When I initially saw this, I thought this was a symptom. I thought this was something had caused this to happen, basically. So what I thought was the pump had died and created a short or something, shorted internally, which they're not known for doing that. It's actually almost impossible for them to do that, but that's what it seemed like had happened. So I didn't bother checking the rest of the harness. I just saw this and figured, wow, that got a little toasty. As I dug down deeper into the harness, the power and ground had the shields, the insulation had melted off, and they were grounded together. So when I tried to jump the fuel pump, I didn't realize that this hot and this ground was, well, not this hot and ground, it's actually these two are hot, and then these blue ones are ground, but whatever, doesn't really matter. Anyways, inside the harness, hot and ground were tied together, and that's what caused it to smoke that particular part of the harness. So, pump works fine on the bench. All the wires near the pump are fine. If the pump was bad, that's where the majority of the heat would have been generated, and so all the wires from the pump up would have been melted, and instead what happened was just in between where that short was and where my jumper wire was is where the wires got hot and melted. So I think this was the cause. I think there was a bad connection in here, and bad connection is high resistance. High resistance is a lot of heat. Melted this plug and caused all types of nasty issues and melted wire insulation and all that type of stuff. So temporarily this is my fix, just bypassing the plug, using these safety connectors. I'm gonna get an actual nice plug to replace all this, but for right now this is just so I can drive the car until the new plug comes in. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this back in the car and try and give her a test fire. See what happens. Also, what I discovered with the pump only reading like 0.4 ohms, perfectly normal. That's the way it's supposed to be. I think they run like under load when it's submerged. I think they're like 0.6. They're like 600 milliohms. So, not milliohms. Yeah, 600 milliohms. 0.6 ohms. So, that's pretty much normal. It's like 16 amps. So, not shorted like I thought. So, like I said, let me get back in here. Not going to film it. Just going to get to it. And hopefully I'll be starting this up soon. Alright, so fuel pump's back in. Everything's working fine. Fuel pump's fine. I'm really leaning towards that connector. I'm really leaning towards there just being a bad connection in here that caused a high resistance connection that caused all my issues. So hopefully that's it. Go ahead and shut down. It's kind of late. I've been annoying the neighbors all night. But anyways, car's back together. be ready for track, but that's going to depend on whatever weather. Going to depend on when the weather is better. But yeah, so it's middle of summer. It rains every day right around 6 o'clock, like from 5 to 6 o'clock. And it's just hot, so I don't want to waste a day at the track. I really want it to be a good day. So, I don't know. I'm either going to try and get to the track, or I'm going to try and get this thing dyno tuned. One or the other. Either way, the weather is not great for either of those things. So, yeah. I don't know. Small update. Car's running decent, other than almost burning down. Yeah, until something exciting happens. Till next time.